Let me tell you something you probably won't believe, unless you've lived it like I did. There was a summer, not so long ago, when my grandpa welded a stranger's $9,000 ATV straight to our cattle fence with the owner watching, mouth open wide enough to catch flies. Yeah, that's how it started. If you're picturing some peaceful old man sipping tea on the porch, well, keep listening. I used to think nothing could surprise me around here, but that day, even the birds went quiet to see how it would play out. The morning began like any other, rooster screaming before dawn, sun rising over the east field, and me already fighting with the ancient coffee pot. Grandpa sat there, boots crossed, halfway through his cup, just staring into the distance. At first, I thought maybe he'd spotted a coyote, but then I saw what he was looking at, 4 shiny ATVs, all lined up like trophies right on the edge of our pasture. And, get this, a whole group of people unloading coolers, tents, enough picnic stuff to feed an army. Blankets were flapping in the breeze like some small-town 4th of July. Grandpa set his coffee down on the porch railing. So quiet, steam still swirling from the cup. "That ain't our family," he muttered, not even looking at me. I peered out, shook my head. "Nope, that's not anybody's family. That's just strangers, Grandpa." He didn't need to be told twice. Pulled on his hat, stomped into his boots, and started down the steps without another word. If you've never seen a 70-year-old man move like a thundercloud rolling across a field, let me tell you, it's a sight. I followed him, not really worried yet. Folks get lost, right? Maybe they took a wrong turn. Maybe they just apologize and leave. But then I saw her. Blonde bob haircut, sunglasses you could use as mirrors, blouse screaming, "I spent more on this than you did on your last car." She barked orders at her crew. Put the flag by the big rock, park the ATVs so they look good for photos, that kind of thing. Our land, our fence, and she's using it for her little lifestyle spread. Grandpa leaned on the fence, arms folded like he was sizing up a bull. "Morning," he said, calm as anything. The woman turned, all smiles and sparkle, holding a glass water bottle. "Oh, hi. Is this your land?" Grandpa nodded. "Been in the family 3 generations." She flashed a smile, voice all honey and no substance. "Perfect. We just needed a nice open space for a couple hours. The community park is closed, and I remembered seeing this beautiful field last week. You don't mind, right? We'll be gone before sundown." Grandpa didn't even blink. "You passed 3 no trespassing signs." She laughed like that was cute. "Oh, those are probably just old. This is community space, isn't it? My cousin's on the HOA. Says it's all shared recreation." Grandpa stared her down. "No, this is private agricultural land. Not for parties. Not for picnics. Sure as hell not for ATVs." You could see her smile twitch. "Well, I don't see any livestock." Grandpa's voice dropped low. "They'll be here tomorrow. You'll be gone today." That should have been the end of it, but she huffed, tried again. "We're not hurting anything. Just a couple hours. Don't be so dramatic." Grandpa pointed up to the porch. "You've got until I finish my tea." She laughed, nervous this time. "Fine, just a short visit." We went back to the porch. Grandpa didn't pick up his tea, just watched. I knew that look, like the time the coyotes got too close, or when that slick contractor tried to short him on wire. You don't want that look pointed at you. Meanwhile, they turned it up a notch. Music blaring, kids racing between bales, coolers popping open. Some guy did a donut right by our haystack, wheels spinning, dirt flying. Grandpa stood up, dusted his jeans, and walked to the barn. I figured, maybe call the sheriff, maybe turn on the sprinklers and send them scattering. Instead, he came out carrying his welding torch, gloves on his belt, spool of wire in one hand. Calm, slow, no rush. He walked right up to the first ATV like he was checking a tire. The guy sitting there, sipping his beer, barely noticed. Grandpa knelt, gloved up, fired up the torch. The guy jumped back. "Whoa, what are you doing?" Grandpa didn't answer. He clamped a brace around the axle and welded that machine to the fence. Sparks flew, rubber smoked, metal hissed. You could smell burning plastic all the way to the porch. The owner started yelling. Karen, that's what I call her anyway, ran over, red-faced. "You can't do that. That's vandalism." Grandpa stood up, wiped his brow. "You trespassed." That's a felony. I'm making sure you don't do it again before the sheriff gets here. She sputtered. He pulled out his phone, hit record. You want to add resisting to the list? Suddenly nobody had anything to say. Karen's time was up. Her crowd went silent, eyes darting between Grandpa and the ATVs. Even the kids clammed up, huddled around their cooler like it'd protect them. One guy tried to move his ATV. Well, wouldn't budge. Looked like he'd rather take a bullet than touch that thing again. Karen pulled out her phone, started calling, complaining about violence, weapons, danger to children. I almost laughed. Only danger was to their dignity and their ATVs. She hung up, turned to Grandpa, chin up like she'd just saved the day. Deputy Willis is on his way. He'll sort this out. I had to bite my tongue not to grin. Deputy Willis grew up 3 houses down. Knew Grandpa since he was a kid. He'd probably bring a six-pack and ask if Grandpa needed a new can of welding gas. Karen tried to rally her group. It's entrapment. He damaged our property. You all saw it. The owner of the torched ATV glared at her. You said this was HOA land. You said it was fine. I didn't sign up for this. Her credibility snapped in half right then. Her friends started packing up, slow, careful, nobody daring to touch the ATVs. Then, sure enough, county truck rolled up, dust swirling. Deputy Willis stepped out, sunglasses on, hand near his belt but relaxed. Looked at the mess. ATVs welded to the fence, Karen spitting mad, Grandpa wiping down his torch. Willis grinned. Now what's all this? Karen leapt in her speech. He trapped us. He's violent. There are children here. Willis turned to Grandpa. You weld anything you weren't supposed to? Grandpa shrugged. Just a few trespassing toys. Figured I'd keep them here till it gets sorted out. Willis nodded, like he'd heard this story 100 times. You got paperwork says you're allowed on this land. Karen hesitated, then tried the HOA line again. Willis cut her off. HOA doesn't own this land. This is private property. You passed the signs. You set up camp, drove vehicles. That's trespassing, Karen stammered. But he damaged our property. Willis didn't miss a beat. Before or after you broke the law? Silence. He started writing tickets. Names. And if you're not the owner of one of those ATVs, don't stand too close. Karen's friends turned on her quick. You said this was okay. You said it was covered. I'm not paying a fine because of you. She fired back. How was I supposed to know this guy was insane? Grandpa didn't even look up. I'm patient. There's a difference. Willis finished his notes. You're all getting citations for trespassing. And if this gets escalated, environmental impact fines. You ran ATVs on protected land. Karen's jaw dropped. We didn't destroy anything. Willis was firm. Intent doesn't override impact. You can argue in court, but my advice, apologize and leave. Karen didn't answer, just stormed off, red in the face, trying to save what pride she had left. Her friends shuffled after her, eyes on the ground. Grandpa leaned against the porch, sun on his face, the ghost of a smile twitching his mouth. Willis clapped him on the shoulder. Need a hand getting those off later? Grandpa just nodded. No rush. They serve a purpose right where they are. For 2 days, the field was quiet again. Karen came back, this time no picnic dress. She marched up to the porch, heels sinking into the dirt. I've come to resolve this misunderstanding. Grandpa didn't even glance up. She rattled on about jurisdiction, zoning confusion, how her cousin Richard thought maybe our field was shared space. Grandpa cocked an eyebrow. Did your cousin check the deed? She flinched. We've requested it. Grandpa dropped his rag. You mean the kind of escalation where I file with the land board and county? I already did. She blinked, rattled. Grandpa laid out every violation. Hayfield torn up, fence scratched, gate nearly ripped off. So what do you want? Money? Apology? She asked, voice thin. I want folks to stop treating this place like a vacant lot. I want your board to clear my land off their map. And I want a public statement. She shook her head. That's not going to happen. Grandpa smiled. Then I'll see you in court. She turned, stepped right into a patch of fresh manure. The shriek she let out? I had to turn away, so she wouldn't see me laughing. Next morning, a state agent rolled up, clipboard, camera, not an ounce of patience for HOA nonsense. She took photos of every tire rut, every weld, every sign. From what I see, you've got a solid case, she told Grandpa. It's going to get complicated for them. The local paper ran a tiny story. Community group under investigation. Misuse of land. Karen vanished from HOA meetings. Online, folks tore into her. One comment said that Grandpa's got more bite than our mayor. The kicker? The ATV owners tried filing insurance claims. Didn't work. Investigators came out, looked around, shrugged. Lucky he didn't just cut your tires. Claims denied. Trespassing, plain as day. Karen's phone must have lit up like Christmas. That night, Grandpa sipped his tea, staring at the sunset. I asked if he thought Karen learned her lesson. He shook his head, slow. People like her don't learn. They just get quieter when the world doesn't run their way. I sat with him a long time, both of us quiet. Of course, Karen had one last gasp. Hired a blogger, staged a healing picnic at the public park, news crew and all. Everything set up just so. Pastel dress, sandwiches lined up. But the reporter, turns out, was related to a guy who got his ATV welded. So when he asked about it, Karen's smile cracked. She called Grandpa a lunatic, muttered about Hicks with land envy, and forgot the camera was rolling. Next day, the segment played on TV, smile, then snap, then empty picnic tables. The town howled. Her cousin resigned from the HOA. Insurance flagged her for liability review. The HOA's legal team started asking questions. Karen's house went up for sale. Price dropped 3 times. Buyers kept backing out, didn't want to touch the mess she'd made. Around here, stories like that don't fade fast. One morning, a woman in a suit drove up, handed Grandpa a cease and desist from Karen's lawyer. Grandpa read it, walked to the barn, came back with the deed, trespassing codes, and a county letter backing him up. Take these to your boss. She apologized before she even got back in the car. Life settled down. The new folks who bought Karen's place put up a sign, private property, no committees. Whole town loved it. Grandpa never mentioned Karen again. Treated her like a windstorm, loud then gone. But sometimes out on the porch, I'd see him grin just a little. Like the lesson had landed. People started talking about property rights. The HOA changed hands, tightened its belt. The field healed, grass growing back, weld marks fading. Grandpa added a little iron plaque to the fence, near the spot where the first ATV met its fate. You had to look close to read it. Respect grows here. And I realized he didn't weld those machines to be clever. He did it to make them remember. People forget, you know. They see an open field and think it's theirs for the taking. But that land held years of sweat, history, roots that ran deeper than any quick picnic. Karen saw a place for a party. Grandpa saw the work of generations. That winter, he boxed up his torch, put it away on the shelf, said, "Long as folks remember where they can and can't park, she can rest." The field was quiet again, sun setting over gold grass, just like before. Justice, when it came, wasn't loud. It was slow, steady, welded right into the land. So, let me ask you, where do you draw the line? When someone crosses into what's yours, do you shout, call the law, or do you stand your ground, no matter how small the fence? I'd love to hear your take. Ever had someone push past your boundaries and get a taste of karma? Drop your stories below. Tell me, what would you have done, standing in Grandpa's boots, torch in hand?
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.